All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us either live or for tuning in to watch this afterwards as we are recording it. Really grateful to have today with us Mary Hott, and she's going to talk about some of the SBDC programs that are available to anybody who is either interested or who is starting a company and needs some additional resources and support. My name is Ariane Olish. I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Student and Faculty Innovation. I'm also joined by my colleague, Jessica Allen, who also supports the office and the NSF I-Corps program here at WVU. We'll have some information at the end of this presentation about some of our additional upcoming webinars for the year, but please feel free to ask questions and I will turn things over to Mary.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. I need to share my screen here. And, I think I got the right one. How's that look, everyone? Can you see it?
That looks great.
Okay, great. So yes, I'm Mary Hott, and I'm the program manager for the SBDC's InTech program. I'm just going to figure out here how to advance my slide. Why is it not advancing? Wow. All right. So basically, I've got a very slow feed here. It sounds like, it looks like it's moving very slowly. I don't know why, but SBDCs, I just want to talk a little bit about Small Business Development Centers. That is a national organization. It's been around since 1979. The reason they came together is because small business is a huge part of the economy, the country's economy, and certainly in West Virginia, the state's economy. We have close to 100% of West Virginia businesses are small businesses, and close to 50% of people in West Virginia work for a small business. So those are significant numbers, and it's a reason why we want to make sure that small businesses are supported. We also know that, from a lot of research, that small businesses, fail in their startup years. And, there's, several reasons why. Usually it's, not everybody has been trained how to run a business, first of all. It's not everybody's first line of education. They may not have had any experience in it. And certainly not having the proper funding to, get through those lean years are all reasons why businesses fail. So that's why the SBA, the Small Business Administration, is, put together or in legislature back in 1979, this America's SBDC network. And so you can see there's an SBDC office in every state, and Puerto Rico also. So it's not, we're out there as part of a national network. We're accredited and audited through that network to make sure our services meet the standards that the legislature puts into place. That's federal legislature. So in West Virginia, this is just an overview of the offices that exist in the state. You have 2 here in Morgantown, and I'll share that contact location at the end of the slides. We are partially funded by the SBA, and we're partially funded by the West Virginia Department of Economic Development. We fall under that state umbrella. So the important thing to know about this is that there are business coaches. So what the SBDCs are is a network of business coaches. So there's business coaches in every single one of these offices that you see that have a star on them. And what we do is help a business, any small business at any stage of its lifespan. So that's, you could be in that ideation stage, you're pre-venture, you're just thinking about something. We help support that, help move that into a startup mode, where you're, registered as a business and you're beginning to operate as a business, may not still be, have your footing yet, your grounding. And then, moving that into existing, fully fledged operating businesses. So we work through that whole cycle. It's not like we just work with startups. And to give you an idea of business coaching across that lifespan, if you look at that column on the left, the scale on the left from pre-venture startup to existing businesses, and then across the lifespan, you'll see that there's these basic services of just getting a business started, helping to initiate a business plan or a business model that builds into a business plan. There's some people need, everyone needs, market analysis, because why would you go into business if you don't have a market, for example? So, and again, moving that across that spectrum into, having the funding. And again, if somebody's in that more advanced, I don't want to say advanced as far as their business potentiality, it's more of a advanced as, and they've been around a while and operating as a business. Some of those businesses may, the market changes, things change. So, we're there for that, level also. So I operate what's called the InTech program, the Innovation Technology Program. I go across the entire state. And so I work with the business coaches in all of those centers that I just showed you across the state. So you'll be people in each of these offices of the SBDC will have generalized business coaching support. Then they might pull me in if they need something that's more in that innovation or technology area. So the InTech program, again, that's me, with a lot of resources built around me. So I'm all about connecting and collaboration. And in fact, the program itself is funded with Tech Connect West Virginia. If you're not familiar with them, I'll talk a little bit more about them later. So this is a partnership through a FAST grant, an SBA federal FAST grant that the West Virginia Tech Connect is the lead on, and it funds this program. So the program there's SBDC services, there's business coaching services that I mentioned, then the specialized InTech program services, and I also manage a state matching fund that I'll also get into in more detail in a little bit here. So again, that InTech service is going to have that entire scope of business coaching, which again, if you look at it, that strategic planning, if someone's at that idea stage, they might not be ready to be a business yet. So just getting them to that being a business stage. And I see, a lot of that when somebody, an innovator, an inventor has an idea, but they're not necessarily a business yet. So getting them there, getting to that place, helping them evaluate their market, are they market ready? Have they even considered commercializing that idea and doing the business coaching around that? And, the other thing about this InTech program is that it's really built around increasing SBIR access and SBIR proposals written from West Virginia. So there's helping identify and support that proposal writing. And then again, like I said, there's connections to resource partners and services, with WVU being a perfect example of that kind of resource partner connection. So again, I'm just going to repeat this little slide. It's that whole scope of services fit into InTech also. If someone comes to me and they're not market ready, and they haven't even considered whether there's a market for this idea. So we might have to back up and take a look at that first. They might be in business. They may have, have already received federal funding through SBIR or something to get started, but they're in one of those gaping holes in the funding where they don't have the funding, more capital access to keep going. Will fit in there and look for, help look for the funding. So just wanted to repeat that slide to show that, it's that scope of all business support across, from beginning to end. So I don't know how many people watching this are familiar with SBIR and STTR. So I threw the slide up here. I know a lot of people at WVU already know about it, but it's worth repeating. It is another program from the Small Business Administration. It's managed through them. It's considered America's largest seed fund, and it really is. I mean, where else are you going to get early stage, high risk venture funding, that doesn't take any of your equity away? It's a great program. It was initiated in 1982, so it's been around a while also. And West Virginia wanted to see, more SBIR proposals coming from, the state, and to help use that as an economic engine. So that's, something that the state is focused on. So that SBIR, that Small Business Innovation Research, you have to be a small business. So you could be a professor at WVU with this great, amazing idea, innovative, that's going to just, create waves out in the industry, but you're not a business yet. You have to be a business to use this program, because it's from the Small Business Administration, and that is one of their first requirements. There are 11 federal agencies that participate, and the funding is pretty powerful. So again, I support that, and making sure that we have, knowledge out in the state, that people know to, seek this out as one of those, funding engines. One of the ways we do this is training. We run the federal fiscal year because we have this federal FAST grant. So September 30th is our end of year. October 1st starts a new year. So we just finished a year, from February to September. We had monthly webinars on SBIR. They were taught by an outside consulting firm who are experts in writing many, many, many SBIR proposals. So we will be repeating that in the new year. But I thought I would just throw up the 2023 topics so that you would have an idea of what to look forward to in 2024. And that was everything, I felt from talking to, working with the businesses that I do work with in West Virginia, seeking SBIR proposals. There were things like just that, budget, getting your budget right, or building your team, having the right team in place. And then navigating something like the Department of Defense, or navigating, NIH. They're huge, obviously. And I know that Ariane's group has a lot of great resources too, and you'll have some more trainings on that. But this is another resource for training. So let me talk a little bit about the state's Innovation Investment Fund. That was just approved by the legislature in 2019. It became active in 2020, so it's fairly new. And again, the reason they instituted that at the legislative level was business attraction, economic development. It's part of wanting West Virginia to have more economic development wins in technology and innovation. One way to see it, one obvious way of getting there is through the SBIR. So the whole idea of this is to attract more people to be attempting to write these SBIR proposals, because it takes a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but the rewards are great, right? We're talking, phase one, are typically, 250,000 from the federal government. Phase twos are in the millions, 1 million, 2 million. They can extend more when you get into something like NIH, and you may have something that the federal government really needs, that the country needs. And so they're going to even extend the funding, into beyond 2 million. So in order for us to help, reward people for small business owners, innovators, entrepreneurs, to work with this SBIR program, if you write a proposal, a phase one proposal, we reward that with a phase zero grant of $2,500. So that can help cover something out there that, that some expense that you had in just writing the SBIR proposal. If you win that phase one proposal, that's when we start getting into matching the award. Our phase one match is up to 100,000. Our phase two, if you go in and you continue through your phase one, you do your final report, and you write a phase two of that process, and you get awarded the phase two, then we move into matching the phase two also. And to be eligible for this Entrepreneurship and Innovation Fund, you have to be a West Virginia-based business. And the way we see West Virginia-based is if your UEI number, your federal SAM's registration number, is a West Virginia address, then we consider that a West Virginia-based business. That there's obviously, you have to satisfy SBIR program requirements in order for us to, you would have had to done that to get awarded, right? You can't use the funds for the same purpose. And we asked you to give us a budget of what you're going to be using the matching funds for. Small business, again, you wouldn't have been submitting to the SBIR program if you weren't a small business, which the SBA considers as fewer than 500 employees. We do ask that 51% of the research is conducted in West Virginia, and that you remain in West Virginia for the duration of your funding. So, and it sort of looks like this. It's, you submit that phase one, we reward that with a phase zero $2,500 grant. If your phase one is awarded, then we go into that, matching the phase one award. And then you progress onto that phase two. If it's awarded, then we match that phase two. And then, a phase three, which everybody says phase three, it doesn't really exist, but when we consider phase three as that in phase two, you built the product. It's market ready. And that is the whole idea of this SBIR. It is business. It is getting your idea to market. So when you finish that phase two, it needs to be, you're ready to get it out there and sold. And the tricky part of that is that these SBIR awards don't fund marketing. So, so people ask, like, why does your funding, why does the state matching fund fall behind all of the SBIR, matches? It's because our match, when you do that phase two, your funds are going to be coming after you've been awarded it. Well, that's part of that idea, is to help with that marketing. You can use our dollars, our matching fund dollars, to help, market your product. So I thought I would put in here this, additional state resources, because that is what this topic's about, is, not just SBA and not just SBDC, not just the Small Business Development Centers, but, what else is out there for you. This is a part of SBDC helped fund this, but also the entrepreneurship ecosystem, which is another group that I should just have put on here, are groups to know about. Everybody should go out and to wvbusinesslink.com and get yourself registered as a business, and use that as a resource to find things that you might want to be, looking for something about federal contracting, for example. Well, this is check out BusinessLink. It's an online platform that is intended to connect all small business owners, entrepreneurs, and resource providers all across the state. So if you're not on there, you should be. Get yourself registered on there, and go to the calendar, see what's coming up. You don't want to miss a pitch contest, for example. That will be on the calendar. I think they just added a page for pitch contests, actually, so that people could more easily find all the ones available in the state. So that's run by Mark Burdett, and it is run out of the SBDC office in Charleston, but It is statewide, and it is a free resource for everyone. And you'll also find information about the Bridging Innovation Conference in next April, and which is going to be in Huntington. I don't have a slide for that, but right on the homepage of Business Link is information about registering for Bridging Innovation. Tech Connect is another resource provider. They're a nonprofit that is there to support innovation and the entrepreneurial economy. So, for example, they're the ones that wrote the grant, the FAST grant, to fund this InTech program. So that's their mission, and they help support all of us. We all get to that place, and supporting a business, the business owner gets to that place where, let's say, whether you get SBIR funding or not, you're going to most likely need funding. So the reason to have a business coach is for that business coach to follow you through your life cycle. You may be out there, you're busy with, building your product through the SBIR program, or through, on your own in your lab or wherever. And, you get to that point where it's like, okay, I need money. So come back around. If you haven't talked to a business coach in a while, come back and talk to me. Most of the funding available, whether it's venture fund or angel funding or anything in the state, you're going to need to have, they're going to want to see you at a certain stage of business development, right? They're not going to necessarily fund an idea. They're going to be there to, they see that business, what the potential is, and they want to be a part of it. So West Virginia Jobs Investment Trust is a state organization that's been around quite a few years, since 1992 there, that is currently managing this new, I think it's 42 million that came into the state. So it's the West Virginia CAP program, the Capital Access Program. So you would use the JIT, the Jobs Investment Trust website, to find out more information about the West Virginia CAP Fund. And again, I refer people through that all the time. I'll talk with the entrepreneur, and we'll figure out, are you ready to, or do you need your, does your pitch need updating? What's your slide deck look like? So, we want to get you in front of somebody, but we want you to be ready to be in front of them. So again, another service that myself, business coaches, can provide. For venture fund in the state, I love Country Roads Angel Network. It is West Virginia's first angel network that it's accredited. And again, they're very good at, when you come under the arms or under the wings of an angel network, they sort of become business coaches too. You need some of that support from the SBDC or some other resources at WVU that I know you guys also have, to get you to that point where an angel investor says, yeah, we like where this is, and they will help fund you from that point forward. But you gotta be at a certain point in your business life cycle. And so that is another way we can help you get to that point. Making sure your pitch is on track, making sure that, that you've done your market research, that you can speak to, the potential that your business is going to provide. So, but they will take you on and even become advisors, which is another important aspect of continual funding, is to have that list of people that really become sort of part of your business, right? Your management team. If you've got angel investors there saying, we're putting money into these people, and that means we want to be part of their advisement team. So that's wvcran.com. And so right there in Morgantown, we do have two SBDC offices. There's the WVU Center that Coach Sharon Stratton manages, and then the Morgantown Area Partnership is downtown, and Frank Goldborough manages that. We actually have a third person coming on board. I don't know if she's started yet or not. Nellie Setzer, she's a WVU graduate, PhD in business, and she is working with Frank, I believe, on a part-time basis. So we actually now have 3 business coaches in Morgantown. We have another one in Fairmont. If someone's down in that Fairmont area, just reach out and let me know, because I can we can make sure you are introduced to Todd Crump down in Fairmont if you're in that area. So, but again, everything that I spoke to about, don't think you're out there on your own. If you feel on your own, then you should talk to somebody about coaching, right? Help find out what your needs are, where you are right now, and how to get you to that end goal. And that's my contact information. So, InTech Program Manager, this is my email and my phone number. Reach out if you have any questions at all, or just want to connect, something else. So that's it. That's the end of my slides.
Thank you, Mary. And I'm glad to see it looks like maybe some folks had trouble initially with the Zoom link, but it does look like everybody was able to, or not everybody, but a lot of people were able to join. For those of you who did join a few minutes in, just a few things. One, you probably noticed that we are recording this. So the full recording will be online in case you missed the first few minutes. Getting a couple questions here about sharing slides. And yes, Mary has generously agreed to share the slides. So we will be sending the slides out to everybody who registered for the event. If one of your colleagues would like the slides, but they weren't able to register, please just ask them to contact us directly and we will send those out. We also had, there was another question here, Mary, about the Phase 0 program and if it will be continuing in 2024. Any insight on that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that will definitely continue in 2024. So the Phase 0 grant you're referring to.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure we are all excited to hear that. Just for some context as well, for any of you who are joining us who are WVU faculty members, please feel free to reach out to our office. I'm going to ask Jessica Allen to drop both our email as well as our website in the chat. We work with Mary all the time and we're always looking for more people to refer to her. So if you are interested, please just connect with us ahead of time. We will walk you through the process of the kind of guardrails for WVU faculty members participating in a startup company. So you don't hit any bumps down the road later on, and then we will gladly pass you off to Mary for some SBIR, STTR help. Any other questions for Mary right now?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Marianne. That I think the SBIR STTR program in particular, when it gets to the intellectual property and just there's a lot of aspects that people really need to know up front, so.
Absolutely. I will mention, we'll just give a few other people a couple minutes, just if they have any other lingering questions, but while people maybe are thinking about that, a couple other just reminders, announcements. First of all, our office also runs the Evolving Energy Conference, which is taking place 1 week from actually yesterday. We'll have our kickoff next Wednesday night. Emily Calandrelli, who is a WVU alum. She's known by Space Gal on social media platforms. She also has her own show on Netflix. She will be giving our keynote address next Wednesday night at 5:30 at the Morgantown Marriott. I'm going to have Jessica drop the registration link for Evolving Energy. I just saw it come through. Perfect. So please join us for that keynote. It'll be great. We'll have a wonderful reception. And then all day Thursday, we will have panels talking about different facets of the energy sector, especially as it relates to Central Appalachia moving forward in the energy transition. Next month, so we do run this webinar series every month. Next month, we have the NIH will be presenting their seed funding program, which is their SBIR STTR program. We are lucky we have the director who oversees all of the programs at NIH will be giving an overview on that program and how to connect in with their resources. And then in November, we will have the USDA who will be giving a similar presentation, but specific to the USDA. So we're excited for both of those. We also love to receive feedback and input. So if there's a specific agency that you would like to see represented in one of our webinars next semester, please feel free to drop us an email and make a recommendation. We're always happy to reach out to different agencies and ask for representation for these webinars. So in the last, maybe just any final kind of questions, thoughts, comments from folks. Otherwise, we'll wrap up in a minute. All right. Well, without hearing any, Mary, once again, a huge thank you to you for the presentation, but also just in general for all the support you provide our innovators in the state. We are very lucky to have you and very lucky to have the state matching program and the InTech program. So thank you again for the presentation, and we will see everyone soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Reach
you.
out. Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.